Water is an essential element for life. But sometimes it really makes things difficult. On our planet, water changes from one state to another with great ease. During certain seasons of the year, and in the most diverse places, vapor is transformed to snow and liquid water freezes. At that instant, water seems to become an enemy of life. Its friendly and life-giving face changes to form an icy and inhospitable barrier that puts plants and animals to the test. Life under these conditions may seem to be impossible, but nature is capable of finding solutions to almost any problem. Vegetation reduces its activity to a minimum. Water is abundant, but it's frozen, and leaves are in danger due to the low temperatures, which is why many trees shed them. However, large animals must look for other tactics and strategies that will help them adapt to the changing seasons. Bison are a perfect example. Throughout the year, the lands they inhabit oscillate between 20 degrees and 30 degrees below zero. Although most of the time, the temperatures tend to be rather low. The abundant water, humidity, and strong winds together make a dangerous cocktail capable of freezing any being. Bison are able to withstand these harsh conditions thanks to the thick coat they wear. Their fur is so incredibly thick and heavy that it never gets soaked, and it creates a layer of warm air that insulates the bison from the snow and the glacial winds. During winters in certain areas closer to the poles, thermometers can sometimes plunge to 50 degrees below zero. Precipitation is abundant, and snow invariably covers the ground for months at a stretch. It is a difficult time for everyone, and this applies even to large predators such as the Eurasian lynx. Its movements are now heavier, and it expends a great deal of energy to move. Until temperatures begin to rise above 2 degrees, the landscape will continue to be painted white. Ever-present snow is a conditioning factor in the life of every living being. Sometimes the snow forms layers over a meter thick, impeding movement as well as the search for food. Reindeer are confronted with these problems each year. Their diet is very simple. They're satisfied with eating the lichen covering the forest floor, tree branches, and tree trunks. In a worst-case scenario, some rancid pieces of bark will do, and they'll spend hours digging in the snow to nibble on what bits of grass or lichen they find. In some areas, there is such a huge amount of snow that their ability to survive is put to the test. Although they are equipped to live in the precarious conditions found in these places, each year, the reindeer migrate through the snow-covered forests and wastelands. They travel hundreds of kilometers looking for places with less snow, where they hope to be able to find enough food to make it through the winter. They have a secret weapon to help carry out this feat. Their hooves are specially designed to walk in the snow without sinking in it. The surface of their hooves opens wide, allowing them to spread out their weight and sink as little as possible. This way, reindeer can walk quickly without wasting the energy needed to travel and look for food. But the snow is not always a problem. Snow also falls in the Atlas Mountains above the Sahara Desert. In such a dry land, this snowfall is very important. It's a reservoir of liquid that provides most of the area's rivers with fresh water. Some even celebrate snow's arrival because its presence makes their lives much easier, as long as the snowfall is not excessively heavy. For the Barbary macaque, snow is a true gift. It will only have abundant water, and therefore food, during the winter months. While the snow lasts, They won't have to settle for the puddles formed by scarce rainfall, nor will they have to scout their territory looking for streams. Every member of the clan approaches the snowfields to nibble on the snow or sip the water that slowly emerges. Snow is a delicious sorbet that quenches their thirst and also provides them with a pretext to play. But snow and ice play a very important role unrelated to their relationship with certain animals. The snow and ice stored in glaciers make up the largest freshwater reserve on the planet. In the polar regions and in the mountains, snow accumulates and is compressed to form compact ice. It can stay that way for many centuries, until it melts once again upon reaching the sea or crumbles, forming fast-flowing rivers. The polar and circumpolar regions are home to precisely the animals that have best adapted to living on ice or in freezing water. The sea lions of Patagonia resist the temperatures of truly icy waters. The seas they inhabit are continually crossed by the cold water currents coming from the poles. But even in the roughest storm, sea lions are never cold. Their secret is hidden under their skin and consists of a layer of insulating fat several centimeters thick. Their fins are their weak point, since these contain no fat. To avoid freezing and losing body heat, they reduce the blood flow in the area to a minimum whenever they dive underwater. Ice floats. When water freezes, it becomes less dense and expands to form a frozen crust. What's more, life goes on, and it resists winter thanks to this layer of ice, which protects the inside of the pools and lakes, acting much like the glass walls of a greenhouse. Ice is a blessing for certain creatures. Aquatic plants continue to carry out photosynthesis. In fact, during winter months, there is a greater amount of oxygen dissolved in the water accumulated in small pools. An infinite number of aquatic insects continue to breathe and carry out their normal lives under the ice's protection. They'll be safe and calm during the cold season thanks to the shelter offered by the layer of frozen water. Closer to the poles, even summers are not warm, and the snow and ice melt for only 2 or 3 weeks. It's important to make good use of this intense but short period of fine weather now. Mating and reproduction are concentrated in a very short period. Winter will be back in a couple of months, so it's important to hurry. These gray foxes are engaged in the task of looking for food. Their cubs are waiting nearby, rather grown up for this time of year. Even so, they're hungry and wait impatiently to latch onto their mother's teats. Even in this milder season, they must wear a thick coat to protect themselves from the icy winds. There is always ice on the mountaintops, and water appears from all sides, filling lagoons, rivers, and lakes. The abundance of water that comes with the thaw marks the fertile period. Black-necked swans make note of this and begin their courtship dance even before they arrive at the breeding grounds. It's important to take advantage of the available food to gather strength. These kelp geese arrived at the breeding grounds weeks ago. These large geese arrived from the north and are here to take advantage of the plentiful fresh pastures and water. Even so, the climate in this latitude always tends to be harsh. By now, the kelp geese have given birth to a large brood. The wind won't die down, a warning sign that very soon the snow and ice will be back. They know they are racing against time, because when the first snows arrive, there will only be room for true specialists, those for whom the snow is an ally that helps them survive. The frost and snow will be back, and they will change the rules of the game. Water will once again show its coldest, most inhospitable face. Then only those who are best adapted will survive in the kingdom of ice.